Hey, I'm Russ.
And I'm Steve.
Growing up in the 80s, we were introduced to video games, movies, and technology that made a lasting impression on us and forever enriched our lives.
I think I'm gonna cry.
It's been a fascinating journey to be a part of, one that we constantly treasure.
Higher, booty.
Our goal is simple: share our magical moments of discovery and geek out with lovely folks, just like you.
Achievement unlocked.
So if you crave pixel goodness, memorable moments, and experiences that make your inner child do the happy dance, you've come to the right place.
Let's do this.
Welcome to Joygasm.
Yeah.
Hey, what's going on, everyone, and welcome back to Joygasm, where we talk about video games, movies, and pop culture. My name is Russ, Xbox Live Toaster 360, and joining me is my hot and bothered brother, Steve, Xbox Live Stevavitch, as we begin episode 35 on this August 26th, 2017. If you have any questions, comments, or just want to show us some love, you can find us on Twitter at JoygasmTV and Facebook.com/JoygasmTV. You can also listen to us on SoundCloud at SoundCloud.com/JoygasmTV or search Joygasm TV on YouTube. And no matter which platform you use to consume the show, please drop us a subscription, thumbs up, or a review. It helps us build awareness, which we appreciate very much. We have a great many things on the show for you today. In video game news, we check out the latest Overwatch animated Mei short, as well as some character updates with Mercy and Diva from Gamescom. We have 2 new characters making their way to Injustice 2, which makes me excited. We have Secret of Mana reboot and a few other notable headlines. Movie news includes a Joker Harley Quinn movie announcement, Bad Boys 3, Wonder Woman sales figures, and the director drama between Patty Jenkins and James Cameron. Our topic of the day is bittersweet Nintendo experience. But first things first, Steve, how you doing?
Oh, Russ, I'm doing great.
You are a sight for sore eyes, I must say. I feel like I haven't seen you in a while.
You haven't, Russ. You haven't. You know, you don't invite me over anymore. You never talk to me.
It's probably when you started spooning me in bed. I thought I was going a little too far.
I like to cuddle. I'm a cuddler.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are. So what have you been playing?
Just my daily Overwatch fix, Russ. Can't get enough. I'm not even the least bit tired.
Well, what time did you go to beddy by?
About 2:34.
2:34. Impressive.
Russ.
See?
I opened up all those loot boxes, as you very well know.
I know very well because I took notes on every single one of them.
And we were on Twitch.
For the very first, second time.
The second time.
First time was a little test. Second time we were actually trying to be, somewhat entertaining.
And we were on Facebook Live.
We were.
That was a long video, though.
It was. Well, when you have 95 loot boxes to open up, it does get a little long. But actually, the response was positive from the community. Actually, that was probably one of the most active posts we put onto Facebook.
Yeah.
And people actually really did enjoy looking at just what you got.
Yeah.
It's that whole randomizer thing where, no one knows what exactly is going to come out of a loot box. And so actually I could see you got nothing to do. So then, this guy's got 95 loot boxes. Yeah, let's see what he got.
Yeah. When I was filming that with my phone, I thought I was on Wi-Fi for that almost entire hour. Actually, I think it was about 45 minutes, but I wasn't. So that was all data, like a Facebook live stream. I have enormous bills. It's gonna be nuts.
Nice.
Oh boy. But yeah. What about you, Russ? How are you?
I am fan-freaking-tastic. I started my little vacation today.
Oh!
Today, and the only way to do it right is to have an episode of Joygasm.
Indeed.
So I'm very happy to be here. Very happy to be with all of you who are listening, but not you.
No, great. Well, I was about to say I'm very happy that you're happy.
I know.
Now I take it back.
Right before I said that, I was looking into Steve's eyes, and he got this little like glimmer or sparkle in his eyes, like, oh, really? And then I shut him down.
Smack.
But no, I'm taking next week off from my day job, which is great because I will be able to focus on things such as the show, as well as play just a ton of video games and spend some time, quality time with the wife.
Indeed.
Because she is in definite need of some R&R from taking care of the kids. So, but yeah, this week, man, it's crazy how we've moved from going twice a week to once a week because there's just so much stuff that's been going on for me personally. I know on Monday we got to enjoy the Great American Solar Eclipse. I don't know if you went outside for that or not.
I practiced my sun stare.
I bet you did.
How much time can I look at the sun without going blind?
Yeah, exactly. What was really cool was that when I was out, it actually occurred when I was on my lunch break. I was walking outside and all of the bushes on the ground, if you looked at the shadows, had these little mini like eclipse looking shapes to them. It was the coolest thing. And then I had a coworker who was talking about how like if you take your hands and you place your fingers in kind of a crisscross pattern and you hold it up so you can see the shadow, it does kind of something similar where like for whatever reason that pin light kind of approach causes the general shape of what you would see if you looked up with the appropriate eye gear.
Yeah.
But it was fun. It was cool. Like everybody from all the different corporate buildings came out and you could tell certain folks had actually purchased those special type of glasses so you can look up and see it. I actually had a coworker bring in his welding goggles.
Oh, wow.
And so I put those on, looked up, and you could see it. You could see the eclipse happening. It was pretty cool. Another thing that I found out was that apparently there will be another solar eclipse going on in 2024. And that apparently Dallas is the place to be for it. Like it will actually get dark for a certain amount of time.
I noticed looking outside that everything looked darker. It was pretty cool. I don't have any special sunglasses, so I put on both pairs of my sunglasses, my Maui Jims and my Oakleys. I'm like, okay, this should be good enough. And I was like, I'm gonna try it. And I looked. Yeah, no, it didn't work.
Yeah. And now you're blind in one eye.
Exactly.
Yeah. No, it was cool though because it did look darker. Like I noticed there was kind of like this subtle shade of magenta almost on everything. It was almost like I was wearing a pair of sunglasses, but I wasn't. And I was just walking around. The weather also got cooler too during that time. I think initially during that day, it was probably in the high 90s, probably around 95, 97, somewhere around there. But then as it was going on, I think it was like down to the 70s. So it was really quite pleasant. Everybody was commenting on it as we were walking around. We're like, oh man, I can get used to this.
All right. We should have a solar eclipse every day.
Yeah. Oh, there it is again.
Yeah.
So other than that, I have to personally thank you, Steve.
Yes,
you were my errand boy earlier this week. I was looking at seeing what all the commotion was going on regarding the hardware, and we're actually going to get more into that later on during our topic of the day. But my lovable brother over here,
what's up?
He went to GameStop and he was able to pre-order, I believe, the last Xbox One X Project Scorpio edition. Is that correct?
That is correct.
The very last one. So I was very, very appreciative of that fact because there was no way I could go. And so that was a big deal. Of course, the other thing being that I was also really wanting to get the SNES Classic Mini and was unfruitful in that venture, which we will talk about later on. That's during our bittersweet Nintendo topic of the day.
I have, some words for that, Russ.
Yeah, no, don't you worry. We're going to get to that very soon.
But it was funny. I was thinking, I definitely wanted to get a Xbox One X, but I wasn't planning on pre-purchasing it quite yet. And then when I watched Gamescom, when they said this one's going to be a Project Scorpio, I thought, that's the one I'm going to get. I'm going to get the one that has the cooler name on it.
Right. Right. Yeah, in terms of the Xbox Project Scorpio, I assume you saw the videos from Gamescom?
Yeah.
Okay, here's my take on the system in terms of the aesthetic. I absolutely love what they did with the actual box of the system where you have that subtle gradient and it has kind of a texture on there, just real subtle, but just it looks hot. It looks really cool. I also love the fact that Microsoft actually listened to their fans, even though they didn't officially decide to renege on the Xbox One X name and go back and just call it like the Xbox Scorpio.
Yeah.
You could tell that they were looking at all the outrage from the fans regarding how much the name sucks.
Yeah. Good grief.
We both love you, Microsoft, but that name sucks.
The more I think about it, the more I don't like it.
Yeah. So you could tell that had quite influence because on this particular system, they actually have the name Project Scorpio written down the side of the box, which is just hilarious because now it's like an identity crisis because on the one hand, it's like, yeah, I bought an Xbox One X, and you have people look at it like, wait, is it a Project Scorpio? Well, yeah it is, but still, the best case scenario would have been to have whoever their director of marketing is just lay down the law, stick to their guns, and say we've got to go back and just call it Xbox Scorpio.
Yeah,
just to remove the project part, just call it Xbox Scorpio.
Yeah, exactly. Awesome. I mean, it's just a new box and some ink, printer ink or whatever. Maybe a new plastic panel on the system. That's it.
I will say though, I do like seeing Project Scorpio on the system. That's cool. My one beef with the whole entire presentation is the controller. If you look at the controller, they have also placed the logo of Project Scorpio vertically down the quasi middle of the controller. Have you seen pictures of this? So the problem is that, okay, I'm a designer. I've been a designer for the last, 15 years, let's say. So I'm looking at this. All they did was they took the font, which normally is in a horizontal fashion, and then they literally, like probably in Photoshop or InDesign, rotated the font, so it's vertical. So it's like, it's like 45 degrees. And so now in order to read it properly, you have to like turn your neck, like rotate your neck in order to kind of see what it says. And I'm like, no. If you're going to do it vertically like that, then you need to rotate the letters so that you can see what it says. PROJECT, so on and so forth. So it goes down that way. The other issue with it too is that based off the pictures that I saw, the actual placement of Project Scorpio is not directly in the center of the controller.
Yeah.
I'm looking at that. I'm like, who approved that?
Yeah.
I mean, it's ridiculous. I'm looking at that. I'm thinking, okay, you guys have to like understand, like in design, not the program in design, but just, in design, generally speaking, you have to like be aware of your margins. You have to be aware of padding. And in this situation, you have the right analog stick that's on the right side, and then you have the D-pad, which is on the left side. You have to be able to play within the real estate of that in order for that to work. Otherwise, it looks like some amateur thing that just gets slapped on the controller and it's an eyesore.
Yeah.
Another option they could have done too is they could have actually broken it up. Like one of the things I love about when I bought my Xbox One was they had the day one 2013 text in the center of the controller. It's really nice. And it's just in terms of composition and layout, it just fits within that space. Well, they should have taken a cue from what they did with that and just have the word project be on its own line, and then underneath it put Scorpio, just like that. Put it nice, neat in the center. It could still be that cool green color if you want it to be, but it will fit within that space.
Yeah.
That's what they should have done. And instead, it was like literally like whoever designed it, they took what they did by putting the font on the system and then just shrunk it down in Photoshop or something and just plopped it on the controller. And I'm like, no. That is, I like where your head's at. However, that should not have been approved.
It's like it was rushed.
Yeah.
Okay, that works. Let's get it out there.
My hope is that maybe there will be enough of a response from the gaming community regarding that Microsoft will be able to make a swap. It's not a big change. It's not a big fix.
No.
But once again, just another head scratcher where you're just like, why did you do that?
I'm surprised they only have it as 1 terabyte also. I thought they would stuff more memory in there.
Well, I think we've been a little spoiled lately because like the Xbox One when it came out was 500 gigs and that was good for when it first came out. And you got to understand that came out in 2013.
True.
That was what, 4 years ago?
Yeah.
So, I mean, by the time the Xbox One X comes out, it'll be probably close to 5 years. And yeah, I mean, 1 terabyte, it would have been, okay. I have what do I have? Like a 6 or 8 terabyte external, 8 terabyte external hard drive that's hooked into my Xbox One currently. But that's going above and beyond. I have an absolute ton of space just simply because I hate deleting and having to reinstall a game if I want to play it. I just want to be able to plug and play. So yeah, it would have have been nice to have been like maybe 2 terabytes would have been nice.
I was going to say 2 terabytes because the thing is also with the Xbox One is that at the time it was released, there was no backwards compatibility at the time.
Right.
So later on they added that, but with the One X, there is going to be backwards compatibility. So at the same time, you're going to take everything that you have on your current hard drive, and you know, whether it's 500 gigs or not, and then you're going to put it on the new hard drive.
Right.
And then so now you're going to be stuck with 500 gigs again? You know, come on.
Yeah, no, that's a good point for sure. But no, regardless of all that though, thank you. Thank you for going to GameStop.
Indeed.
Hooking your brother up. I appreciate that.
Actually, I did more than that, Russ. I went a whole round town to see if I could find another one.
Yeah, well, like I said, we'll get to that during our topic of the day. So let's see here. I also, I don't think I told you about this, Steve.
Tell me now.
Well, no, I'll wait till later.
Okay.
So, with Overwatch.
Thank you. I was going to catch you.
We played last night, and I'm bouncing off the walls like Richard Simmons right now because we were like full of wind last night, ladies and gentlemen. Let me tell you. I mean, we were hooked up with. I remember a couple of the guys' names. I need to friend them, send them some friend requests. Goodness, because we were just absolutely unstoppable. Yeah. We haven't had a night like that, and I don't know how long.
I think we won like 10 in a row, or close to 10.
I mean, I got used to winning so much, and we're just, kind of overwhelmed with winning. And so finally, we had one match where, slowly but surely, one by one, people would kind of leave the team and that sort of thing. To the point where we had our first loss. I'm like, I'm done. I'm not going to spoil this night.
Nope.
Just leave it right there. So I was pretty happy about that.
It's fantastic.
I finished watching The Matrix. I also got in and watched The Matrix Reloaded and The Matrix Revolutions.
Good. Great.
We got some good old movie time in there.
Well, I've been looking out for you on Xbox Live, and I haven't seen you. You've been on every once in a while, but it's like Xbox Live, Toaster 360 status, home, Netflix. I'm like, all right, I know what he's doing.
Yeah, no, it was a really enjoyable experience to go back there because I haven't watched those movies in years. And I remember last time, I think on a previous episode, we were talking a bit about just watching the first Matrix, and I had mentioned how the second and third ones were not as good. And I stick by that. I definitely love the first one the most. But having said that, watching the second and third ones, actually there was a lot to like about those. I do think that the third one was probably the weakest out of the three. But having said that, Agent Smith is just so cool. I love Hugo Weaving, and just watching him do it. It was a nice nostalgic romp through.
Yeah.
So did that. I also purchased Hellblade, which is for the PS4. And it's a game that I mentioned to you is that game in Pyre. I think it was 2 episodes ago.
Yeah.
Just played a little bit of it. You need to check this game out. In fact, after the podcast, I'll pop it in there for you. But
isn't it kind of creepy in a way?
It's very creepy. I was playing it last night. It's kind of a psychological thriller in a way, but it's kind of cast in this Nordic world.
Horizon kind of world.
Kinda, yeah, kind of Viking-esque.
It's like if what's the chick's name in Horizon?
Aloy?
Aloy. It's like if Aloy had a just mentally disturbed, kind of possessed cousin, in the other tribe. Yeah.
Kind of, sort of. But no, this one was very much into the whole Nordic lore thing and just, I don't know where she is or what she's doing there, whatever, but it's really an experience. It definitely immerses you. She's just a person who deals with a lot of psychotic episodes. And so while you're playing, you're constantly hearing voices in your head, which are coming from both the left and right speakers. So, I mean, if I had a 5.1 or 7.1 set up in my house, I'd be freaking out because I'm sure they probably use that to the fullest extent. But the graphics are just amazing. It's truly just an immersive experience with it. There's no HUD. Remember we were talking about how there's no UI?
Right.
That makes a difference. If you don't see a UI HUD and you're moving around, I started to get really creeped out pretty quick. The other thing that was interesting was that I had my first fight with one of the guys before I could go through this door, and I ended up losing the fight. And what happens is that one of my hands started to get this weird skin disease thing going on, and it's called the dark rot. And so apparently in the game, like every time that you lose a battle, like you quote unquote die, which you didn't really die in the game, the rot travels more and more up your arm until the point where like if it gets into your mind, it essentially, kills you and you have to start the whole game over.
Ugh.
So it's a pretty original approach to that sort of thing. But what was cool too was the fact that like when I lost the battle, I didn't have to fight him again. It just continued on. I mean, it's a very novel approach to just gaming in general. And really, there's not a lot that I've done so far. It's kind of a puzzles game in a way, but there's some action thrown in there. Anyway, you got to check it out. I'll be able to hold on to you on the couch. I get scared.
It's funny you mentioned the Nordic lore thing because I started watching a new Netflix show. And I'm going to hold off talking too much about it because I've only watched the first episode.
Yeah.
It's called The Last Kingdom.
Oh, yeah. Uh-huh.
So I came up in my feed and I thought, yeah, I'll give it a shot. It's original Netflix content. So I started watching it. It's a little, I don't want to say low budget, but it's kind of low budget in a way. That's the best way I can think of it.
Sure.
Scripting is decent and acting is decent. So I'm gonna continue watching it for a little longer and see what happens. The story's a little, but we'll see what goes on.
Finally, the thing I have on my list is that I've been playing a whole lot more Sonic Mania, and I am stuck on Oil Ocean. I don't know if you've seen me try and fight this boss or not, but
isn't that where all the fire starts kind of coming up?
Yeah, like if you have the fire shield on, then if you touch the oil, then it lights fire, which is fine. But that boss, like Dr. Robotnik, is in this like weird octopus squid robot looking thing. Man, and see, the thing is like when you lose all your lives, there isn't a continue in the traditional Sonic games. If you went to like a bonus round and you collected a certain amount of rings, it would actually score you a continue. So if you lost all your lives, instead of it just being game over, you would have the option to hit continue and then to give you 3 more lives and you can keep going your way through it. I don't know if that exists in this game or not, but as it stands right now, once I go through all my lives, it's game over. And if it's game over, then you have to start over in that particular zone. So I've done this so many times. I totally just spit on my mic right now.
So many times.
Yeah, save that for later. And I mean, like I'll have like 6 or 7 lives and I just keep dying. I cannot get past that part. So yeah, it's going to take a little while. I decided to take a little break from the Sonic world before I get too pissed.
Before you get too much motion sickness.
Yeah, exactly. Well, what do you say we get into some gaming news, huh, Steve?
Let's do it.
To kick things off, Gamescom 2017, Microsoft exec says cross-network play talks are ongoing with Sony. Following the announcement of several games featuring cross-play between PCs and consoles, excluding the PS4 at E3 2017, a Microsoft executive has explained that they and Sony are in ongoing discussions about making cross-network play a reality someday.
It's about friggin' time.
Yeah, this is something that we've talked about this so many times about
for the last few decades.
It's all about the gamers. If you can have games that are specifically designed for multiplayer, it shouldn't matter which system you own. Just let the gamers play with their buddies. Right. At the end of the day, that's what counts most.
Right.
Overwatch has a new animated short, which I'm sure all of you have checked out. If you haven't, then you definitely should. I believe we have it on our Facebook.com/Joygasm TV site. It's called Rise and Shine. And what did you think of it?
I thought it was extremely well done.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what kind of folks they have over there at Blizzard staff, but I mean, if you're a fan of like the opening of the movie Up, Pixar's Up, you're going to love this.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't matter if you're an Overwatch fan or you're not an Overwatch fan. It's just a treat to watch.
Mei is a character that I actually enjoy to play every now and then, although I find if I'm not playing her and someone else is playing her, I find her to be really annoying. And I think it's really cool to have an animated short that focuses on the character because I wound up just really appreciating and respecting the character more as a result of seeing more of her backstory. And I mean, it's like you said, it was like a Pixar level with just the character arc and just the story going on. I mean, the video itself is about 10 minutes long, but I just loved everything about it. I loved how it wasn't just like yet another animated short where there's lots of fighting and shooting and stuff. It actually was just based around what she is passionate about, what she loves to do regarding science and the snow and ice and stuff. And just the sacrifice. What's the name of her robot again?
I thought it was just Snowflake, but maybe I'm wrong.
It's something. I can't remember what it is. But anyway, I loved the emotes that they did.
Right.
You know, it kind of reminded me of WALL-E a little bit.
A little bit of
Pixar.
WALL-E, yep.
And I liked how, well, I won't spoil it. If you guys haven't seen it, I would definitely encourage you guys to go check it out. It's super cool. Some other news from Gamescom. Microsoft explains how to transfer data to Xbox One X. I thought this was worth covering. So there are 3 separate methods, which I'll have in my notes here. I'll just tell you. There's the first one. It's called Settings Backup. Your existing Xbox One settings data, presumably including the new modular home menu, can be copied to an external storage device and reapplied to an X. The second option is early 4K updates. Patches for 4K game enhancements are likely to be weighty. You'll be able to download these early on your existing Xbox and then copy them to external storage or transfer them over a home network when your X arrives. The third option is game and app transfer. Once you have received your X, all games and apps from your original console can be transferred over your home network, which should be faster than re-downloading them or copying via external storage. So things that just kind of, you know, depending on how you want to approach it.
Yeah.
I think I'd probably do the third one, honestly.
I'm guessing they're going to give you instructions in the box, too, to tell you how to do it. Because, I mean, everybody who loves Microsoft and has an Xbox One is going to want to transfer their content.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
So,
it goes without saying.
yeah.
I think it's going to be pretty straightforward. It's
Yeah.
literally just, you know, take your stuff that you have. They'll probably have like a USB cable to plug it into your
Yeah.
Xbox One X and just do it.
Well, I've been really antsy about that, too, because one of the reasons that I bought my Xbox One in particular was because it came with the Master Chief collection
Right.
on it. So, I mean, that's only on my hard drive. So I lose my hard drive, I lose that game.
Yeah.
So,
I'm sure there's a way that you could transfer it.
yeah.
Some other Overwatch news is that Overwatch Season 6 changes have been detailed. The biggest change is that this season will not only be 2 months long instead of the usual 3. Kaplan said that engagement is a lot higher at the beginning of the season, and they wanted to make that early season excitement more frequent. Some other news also is that, I don't know if you may have heard about this, Steve, is that, did you hear about how Mercy's ultimate is getting changed?
I sure did.
Oh my goodness. There's a new change. The ultimate is called Valkyrie, and it's where it allows Mercy to actually fly.
Yep.
Instead of just floating around like she normally does, she can actually fly for about, I don't know, 20 or 30 seconds.
Yeah, it's about 30 seconds, yeah.
It's a sustained amount of time. Also, her gun has an increased rapid rate of fire, and I also believe they buffed up the damage a little bit too.
I don't think they buffed up the damage, but but what they definitely did is they didn't give you a reload time. So you just keep shoot, just like your D.Va.
Oh, really?
So, yeah.
Oh, wow.
But basically, from what I understand is when you're in Valkyrie Ultimate mode, everything Mercy does is faster.
Yeah.
So instead of like, you know, just flying over to somebody just real quick to heal them, she can now stay afloat. She can fly longer distances. So if someone's in the background, she can
Right.
get over there. Her healing stream now targets multiple people, so she can heal multiple folks at the same time.
That's during her ultimate?
That's during her ultimate.
Oh, wow.
Same thing with damage boost. So she can do that, you know, multiple different people.
Maybe that's what I was thinking of, was a damage boost.
Yeah. Plus, she can resurrect faster. Because that's the thing. Instead of resurrect being her ultimate,
Yeah.
and she would fly in and resurrect the entire team. Now it's a regular ability, and it's only one person at a time with a cooldown of 30 seconds.
Right.
Which
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to that, actually, because at some point, because I play Mercy a lot.
Yeah.
And there's times where 1 or 2 people on the team die, or just let's just say 1, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to hold on to my ultimate because I want to raise 2 or 3, 4 people at once. And sometimes another person will die, but the reload has happened on the previous person, so now I'm still down to 1 death. And 30 seconds is not a long time to wait to revive somebody at all. So I
Yeah.
think it's going to be good, but at the same time, they'll might nerf it in the future. I don't know. I think it's almost too much for Mercy. I think they'll nerf it.
I do like the changes to Mercy's character just because largely she's a passive character.
Yeah.
You do have a handful of players who are pretty good with going on offense with Mercy, but as a general rule, it's kind of you're kind of playing more of a support role, and I do believe that these additional abilities and changes to some of her existing abilities really will get her more involved with
Yeah.
the fight itself.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think on paper, I like it.
Yeah.
Of course, the proof is going to be when I'm actually fighting against her and seeing, okay, how is this going to change the dynamic of the battlefield and just see if, like, okay, is it fair? Is it good game design, or is it something that is just too much?
Yeah.
We'll have to see. The other one is that Diva is getting the ability to shoot while flying. So when she puts her boosters on, she can actually still shoot, which that'll make her a bit more lethal, especially for those of us like myself who like to play Pharah. You know, we're in the air, and typically what they do currently is they have a Diva unit that will fly up using their shield to get as close as they can, and then as they're dropping, they'll start shooting at you. So I'm a little scared.
You know what else Diva might get?
What's that?
Micro missiles.
Yep, heard about that too. Micro
Yeah.
missiles. I haven't seen any actual gameplay footage of that yet. I don't even know if it's in the PTR.
It is in the PTR.
Okay.
And they're small little. I mean, they're all micro missiles, so they're not going to do as much damage as Pharah's rockets. But it's just another ability that she'll get. They're also toying with how much she can use her that shield that she has.
Yeah.
So, and I know a lot of people have complained about that because it's basically an ultimate eater, and she uses that a ton to just absorb damage for the entire team. And people are like, dude, we can't even damage Diva sometimes. So,
yeah, that one I'm a little conflicted on just because I am a Diva player. I don't play Diva as much anymore because I feel as though Blizzard has nerfed her too much.
Hey, Daddy-O.
Wow. Where did that come from? But yeah, like just I remember when I was first playing her, I was enjoying her a lot, and I realized that she was overpowered. She was just too much. When they initially made the nerfs, I was like, okay, yeah, this is starting to feel better, but they kept nerfing her. First it was they were messing with her health versus her armor count, and then they were messing with how much damage her bullets do, and then they were messing with how much of a radius that her ultimate does, to the point now where, I mean, on average, I'm only getting like 1 to 2 deaths when I do my ultimate. And if you compare that to other players, like for instance, Soldier 76, who auto locks on and is completely mobile, shooting, running and gunning and stuff. I mean, that's incredibly powerful. Or if you look at Hanzo when he unleashes his 2 dragons, I mean, if you're in the way, you are done.
when you look at Hans,
Oh, hi Hans, how's it going? So yeah, I'm a little. I don't know how I feel about that. I do like the fact that they're introducing another secondary weapon to her roster, just because she just seems to have gotten kind of basic due to all the nerfs. So yeah, we'll just have to see how it goes. But I do like how they're tinkering with it. I think I would say I'm more excited about Mercy than I am with Diva.
they actually might bring out a new Reinhardt ability.
Oh,
And it's not necessarily an ability per se, it's like an add-on. So when he puts up his shield, he can only look at the direction his shield is going, right? So what they're toying with is a way to put up your shield and have it be stationary, but you can look left and right to see where your team is at.
that's cool.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
Onward to some Injustice 2 news. Raiden and Hellboy are heading to Injustice 2. Man, this gets better and better, let me tell you. Hellboy, Raiden, and Black Manta are coming to Injustice 2 as part of the game's second Fighter Pack. Fighter Pack 2 will be available for purchase starting September 12th, at which point the first character from the bunch will be available for early access. I am super excited. I had no idea. I figured Raiden would be coming in because that's kind of one of NetherRealm's main characters from Mortal Kombat. But Hellboy, oh my gosh, dude, I am pumped. For some reason, I thought that Hellboy was Dark Horse Comics. I didn't think that they were DC. But maybe I'm wrong. I don't know.
Just give me some Liu Kang and Johnny Cage.
Oh my gosh.
New Injustice, fatalities. Babalities.
I still actually, speaking of babality, I need to actually get to grips with Starfire, which got released. I haven't played with her much at all. I've fought against her, and she's got some cool moves. So she's one of the more of the DC Teen Titan, I think, parts of the universe. But anyway, finally, this is a big one, especially for all of you Nintendo lovers out there. Secret of Mana remake hits PS4, Vita, and PC next year. A complete remake of Secret of Mana is coming stateside next February, Square Enix announced Friday morning. PlayStation 4, PlayStation Vita, and Windows PC versions are all in the works, and the game will come with a full set of new features. These include online multiplayer for up to 3 people, fully redone 3D graphics, new musical arrangements, and voice acting, although Square Enix hasn't said if the Western release will have English voices or just Japanese audio. I have never played this game. I've watched a buddy of mine back when I was in elementary school play it, and I was really blown away by it. I mean, it's a super cool RPG. Nick, Big Baby Moose, he's a big fan of Secret of Mana, so I think he's going to be pretty pumped.
Yeah, we'll have to get that one.
I do believe that actually is all we have for gaming news.
Okay.
Why don't we say we segue right into movie news, Steve? This one is a bit interesting. Joker and Harley Quinn DC Extended Universe movie planned with Jared Leto and Margot Robbie. So those are the 2 actors from Suicide Squad, of course. According to Variety, Warner Brothers is in final negotiations with Glenn Ficarra and John Requa to direct the film. The movie is a standalone story not affiliated with the recently announced Joker origin story movie reportedly being produced by film legend Martin Scorsese. The tracking board reports the Joker and Harley Quinn movie will come after Suicide Squad 2, pushing back the planned Gotham City Sirens movie. I have no idea what to make of that. I do respect Jared Leto and Margot Robbie as actors. However, as you know, I absolutely hated Suicide Squad. I think Margot Robbie was like the saving grace of that film. She was absolutely Harley Quinn. Jared Leto, unfortunately, just really didn't get very much screen time, and the screen time he did have, it just didn't work. And so
didn't add anything.
I'm curious to see how that all is going to how it's going to pan out. I mean, I have strong emotional attachment to these characters, seeing as how they're from my favorite comic book. But yeah, what do you think?
I'm not too excited. I don't know.
The best scene from Suicide Squad was actually the flashback that Harley Quinn had when she was getting to know the Joker, and you watched as she became obsessed with being with the Joker and watching that relationship bud into this twisted thing that it is today. That was cool. That whole thing, like where like he manipulates her and you know makes her go insane, and then like her like falling into that vat, you know, willingly, and him going in after her. All that, I was like, okay, I can get behind that.
Yeah,
that's cool.
But that wasn't the entire movie. That was just like a little snippet. You're like, man, that was awesome. And then the rest of the movie was like, eh.
Yeah, that was 5 minutes worth. And the rest was like, oh. Speaking of Starfire, live action Titans DC series casts Starfire. Titans an upcoming live action dramatic series based on characters from the DC universe, has cast an actress in the role of Starfire. That actress is Anna Diop, who prior to this was likely best known for playing Nicole Carter on 24 Legacy. Did you watch 24 Legacy or not?
Negative.
You and I have both watched the original 24 series, but not the new one.
Actually, I've watched the 20. I'm watching the 24 series, but I haven't finished the entire series yet.
I see.
It's still on my Netflix list. I didn't want to finish it too early. I wanted to draw it out a bit.
Yeah, dole it out, I see, huh?
Yeah.
Well, this one is a little bit of a bummer for me personally.
You bummer.
Bad Boys 3, unlikely now, claims Martin Lawrence. I have always had a special place in my heart of hearts for Bad Boys. I love Bad Boys 1 and 2. I think Will Smith and Martin Lawrence have this fantastic buddy chemistry on screen. But in an interview with Entertainment Weekly, Bad Boys star Martin Lawrence revealed that with the project getting constantly delayed and with Will Smith's busy schedule, there's a strong chance the movie will get canceled entirely. Quote, I don't think we're going to get to do one, not the way everything's turning out, said Lawrence. Will is off doing another movie, and I don't think it's going to happen, end quote. And I think that has to do with, I think we covered a news story a little while back about how Will Smith is going to play Genie in the new Aladdin live action movie.
Yeah.
That's probably what it is. But yeah, I hope that does get made. I mean, they are getting older, and I don't want them to get too old. I certainly would like to finish out. There seems to be kind of a hard time completing trilogies lately. like Hellboy 1 and 2, and then we couldn't get the third one. Now we're doing a reboot. I would really like to see like just a Bad Boys 3 just to round that out. And, you know, put it to bed, so to speak.
I need closure on my Bad Boys.
Yeah. Finally, Wonder Woman becomes highest grossing domestic superhero origin film ever, crossing the $404 million mark at the box office this past weekend. Wonder Woman has now become the highest grossing superhero origin film at the domestic box office. It eclipsed the original Spider-Man, which held a record of $403,706,375. And if you recall, that actually, why'd you look over there? Notice my poster?
I do.
That's the original Spider-Man right there. It came out in 2002. So since 2002, it has held that record.
Original poster meaning before the Twin Towers fell.
That's right. If you look in his eye, you can see the WTC right there.
Yeah, exactly. That poster's worth something, Rod.
Deadpool came close to toppling Spider-Man, which has held the top spot since 2002, which I just said. I think it's also worth mentioning, too, that there has been a little bit of drama going on between James Cameron and Patty Jenkins. It's pretty interesting how James Cameron had done something in particular where I don't think he was meaning to necessarily slam Patty Jenkins, but he was doing some sort of interview, and he talked about how he didn't feel as though Wonder Woman, the character, was basically like a decent or proper female heroine. And he was talking about how in his films, because he's done a couple of films where you have these female leads, such as like, in Terminator 2, you had Sarah Connor. What was the other one? I just had it and I lost it. Not Terminator 2, but
Avatar?
No. There was another one. I totally anyway.
Titanic.
Titanic. Anyway, I'll just use the Sarah Connor one. He was talking about how in his films, how he portrayed his female hero as someone who was much more down to earth, reality, damaged, troubled. She was not the perfect mother. In fact, she was a pretty horrible mother. But at the same time, she was able to pull herself up and be able to push through a lot of things and just be full of grit. Yeah. And so it was interesting to just see that comparison, but Patty Jenkins actually responded with a really nice quote. And I don't have it here in front of me, unfortunately, but she was basically talking about how not every female lead has to be some sort of troubled woman,
right,
who has a lot of baggage and all this other stuff. Like it's okay to be beautiful, to have more of a naive outlook on the world initially, anyway, and just all the qualities that Wonder Woman possesses. You don't have to go down the same road, and I don't know. I thought it was a classy response to something like that, because I like both. Honestly, I do. I think it's honestly it boils down to the style of the director. I think James Cameron tends to really be more into that side of things, and that's okay. But I don't think it's a byproduct of just how every female lead should be. I think that depending on what the story calls for, that's how it should dictate the character.
Well, I also think that not everybody comes from the same origin either. So, I mean, if let's say Patty Jenkins made Wonder Woman with the same kind of...
Go ahead. Finish your thing.
With the, she scared me.
I remember the other female lead.
My pants over here. Nuts. Yeah. Pause the show.
Sorry. Go ahead.
Russ, do you have any new shorts? Anyhow, I mean, if all the strong female leads had the same origin story, then what originality is that? And not everybody's going to come from the same place. So, I mean, not to mention, it's like, dude, talk about your own stuff. Why you got to rip on this other movie? I mean, it'd be like the same thing if we got on the show and we ripped on other people's podcasts for no apparent reason. Like, why would we do that? That serves no purpose.
Yeah.
I smell a little BS, Russ. Okay, now you scared me for a reason. What's your reason?
I'm sorry, I made you jump. The other female lead is Ripley from Aliens. That was a James Cameron film as well. So, strong female lead, badass, everything else that you'd want to say. And those are really interesting characters. But yeah, I think we're on the same page on that. Without further ado, I do believe that it is time for our topic of the day.
Friends.
Oh, yeah. So our topic of the day is the love-hate relationship I have with Nintendo right now. And I don't think it's just me alone. I think it's with a lot of folks. Mm-hmm. To start things off, Steve, I have something to show you.
Show it to me, Russ. Don't lift up your shirt for any reason.
I know you like my belly button lint. I went out and purchased the Nintendo Switch.
I was going to say, I see something that rhymes with Twitch.
I was going to say something else. I'm like, oh, good. So, yeah. You can take a look at it. So Nintendo Switch.
Oh, drop it!
This is a very big deal because I have never owned a Nintendo system before.
This is big, Rush.
It's a big deal.
I'm gonna play table tennis. I want table tennis.
The first two games that I bought with it are The Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild.
Of course you did. Did you get bowling? I won bowling.
I don't know if it comes with it or what. But I also got Mario Kart.
Oh boy! I think every girl, wife, and the neighborhood will be like, "Oh, he got Mario Kart. Oh, I'm so going over there and playing."
There are plenty of men who enjoy Mario Kart as well.
I know a ton of women are like, "My favorite game on Nintendo is Mario Kart."
Anyway, I'm pretty excited. I haven't even taken it out of the box yet. It's all brand new. It's still wrapped in the cellophane, but
I want a Nintendo boxing for the Switch and fishing. I might have to go out and buy games and continue to sleep over at your house in your media room.
Yeah, really. The cool thing about this, too, is I was able to get one that had the red and blue Joy-Cons on both sides, and that has been really hard to find. They've had more of the standard kind of charcoal gray, black kind of look to it.
I want the blue one. You can have their own.
Okay. But yeah, no, it was really cool. I had actually gone in there to talk to them about the NES Classic Mini. And it just so happened that they had like two of them. Mm-hmm. They just got them in. And I was like, oh, well, I'll take it. Awesome. And it's just been something that people have been trying to get for a long time now. So that is the part that I absolutely love about Nintendo. Especially this year, I've been covering quite a bit of the different titles that have interested me. And I really do believe that they've really got a good thing going with this. And the nice thing about it is that it's basically a portable system. And, we haven't had a portable system since the Game Gear.
Right.
It's been a very long time. So I felt like it was time. And especially when I have to go on location to do video production and stuff, it's nice to have something I can play in the hotel room. So,
not to mention, this is going to have a lot of playability from after its age has expired, because when your daughter grows up, Russ, you're taking them family trips.
That's right.
You put that thing in there, and that could be her entertainment.
That's right. Very much so.
She's already starting to be a gamer girl, Russ.
I know. Oh, she loves video games. I can't wait.
Daddy, can I see the Batman show?
She says that, by the way. Like, anytime I'm playing Batman, or even if I'm not, she won't, like, before she goes to bed, she has to look at Batman Arkham Knight, and I go through the character gallery. I don't show her the uber scary ones because she's only 2, but she loves Batman and Robin.
Yeah, and when she was watching, she was doing Overwatch. She's not too big on Overwatch yet, but some of the stuff, like when the hero gallery is up, she's like, ooh, what's that? What's that?
Oh, she loves the characters. And she also loves Aloy from Horizon Zero Dawn.
And she also loves Sonic, too. I think
she does.
Yeah.
Yeah, she has an affinity for Sonic. So, yeah, it's just a matter of time. I cannot wait to be able to, like, share those gaming experiences with her. But
her first word was not mommy or daddy. It was
Iron Man.
No, it was Dada.
I know.
So getting back to the Nintendo here, so that was the love portion of it, was just being able to get the system. And it was interesting how it's been very difficult to find the Nintendo Switch, especially the ones that have the colorful Joy-Cons on there. And it's been just a byproduct of just how Nintendo basically just prints money. Just about anything they do, they just make a ton of cash over, and they're just a household name. So earlier this week, the SNES Classic Mini was dropped. Apparently, it started, I want to say it was on, I want to say Tuesday night. It was either Monday night or Tuesday night. I can't remember. But our good old friend Brad actually texted me the night that it happened, where Best Buy actually put up, I think it was actually both Best Buy and Amazon, had just out of the blue plopped up the SNES Classic Mini orders at like midnight. I had gone to bed. Normally I'm a night owl, and so I'm up till 1 a.m. or so. But that particular night, I was just like, I'm gonna get to sleep early. I'm gonna get caught up on my sleep and whatnot. So I went to bed at like 11:40, literally 20 minutes before Brad texts me all like freaking out because it went up for order, and it was sold out in 15 minutes at that point. You fast forward to the following day, and all of a sudden, all of the other major retailers like Target and Walmart, Toys R Us, there were some other ones too. I can't remember, but GameStop was another one. They all started to just randomly make them available, and literally within seconds, they were sold out. The closest I got was on Target, where I actually was able to go through the whole checkout process. I'm clicking place order. It's in the moment of processing. So you see the little like circular icon that's just moving their little loading thing, and it got snaked out from under me.
Yeah.
So needless to say, I was pretty pissed. And there are a lot of people just all over the world who have the same type of reaction, because this is not some sort of sleeper hit. This is something that Nintendo knew for a long time coming up, that the demand was just there. Everybody wanted one. If you think about it, people our age who are parents now, they grew up with the Super Nintendo.
Right.
And there are people like you and I who we never owned a Super Nintendo because we were kids. We couldn't afford to have every system. We were Sega guys. But we had friends who played Super Nintendo, and we enjoyed playing the games when we went over to their house. So then, people like myself, it's like, yeah, now's my chance. I can order that. I'll be able to play it on my 60-inch TV. It's going to be great. And so a lot of people are wondering, well, what is the deal about this? Why were we unable to purchase the system? It just doesn't make any sense. Well, I had made a guess that it probably had to do with bots, and I was right. There is a bot called the Tai Ding bot, and you can purchase it for like $110, and it's designed to do things like be able to grab like SNES pre-orders. There was a guy who got 4 SNES pre-orders successfully checked out as a result of using this thing. And it makes sense because you have people, you have your hardcore gaming audience, and then you have your more casual gaming audience. And the fact that you had a significant portion of the hardcore gaming audience not able to score one. I mean, they were ready to go. They had, you had each one of the stores on a different web tab. You've already got your login information, your credentials good to go. It's literally, you're just hitting F5 to refresh. And there was just a lot of folks who left empty-handed, and as a result, are really mad. They're upset. And so it goes back to Nintendo's antics. And I realize I'm monologuing quite a bit about this, but I'll let you get in here in just a minute. I feel like I need to vent.
I realized I didn't have been monologuing. I thought that was all internal.
Yeah. How do I tell them that due to the unfreezing process, I have no inner monologue? Why didn't you say that out loud just now? Well, before I keep going, do you have any thoughts on what I'm saying?
No, I could just back up your claim, though, because when I went to GameStop after Steve, wake up, Steve, wake up, Steve, wake up, Steve, wake up, Steve, okay, I'm up, good freaking creep. I went in there, to get both, and the line was, like I told you before, it was like out the door for people buying the new Madden. And so I thought, all right, I guess I'll wait in line. And then I called in ahead of time just to make sure this was happening, because I saw a bunch of Twitter posts about, oh, so-and-so's got it. Oh, so-and-so's got it. And then I went on Target.com, and then it sold out. I went on GameStop.com, sold out. Went on BestBuy.com, sold out. I'm like, okay, well, so it's going to be sold out. And I called the guy. I said, okay, is this happening or is it not happening? He goes, I don't know where the rumors are coming from, but it's not happening. And I go, all right, well, if you have any Xbox, Progress Score, I got what? I'm like, okay, I'm heading down there right now. He goes, okay. So I burnt rubber in the driveway, took out, and made all my neighbors mad. Got there, waited in line. Everyone's like, Madden. And I'm about I'm telling you, like 18, 20 people left in line. And then he goes, oh, look at that. I got an email saying that they're releasing 4. And then people go, oh, that's why I'm here too. And then like the last 4 people in line to get mad and go, oh, or the first 4, excuse me, next up in line. And so he goes, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. Anybody else? You got to go. And everyone's like, oh, you got to be kidding me, Yeah. So, GameStop that one day just only had 4. Like, good grief.
Now, check this out.
I'm checking.
The same day that you went to GameStop, I went to that same GameStop on my way home.
I knew you would.
Okay, just to double check.
Yeah.
And I went straight up to them, because I remember you had told me, you said that you'd gone there and they were like waving people away who were there for SNES Classic, who were claiming they didn't have any. I went in there that same day and talked to them, and I said, did you ever get any SNES Classic Mini pre-orders today? They said, yes, they did. They said, yeah, we were able to do it, and we're sold out. And I said, when exactly did you start doing that? Oh, this morning. What do you mean this morning? Oh, those are like around, I don't know, 11 a.m. or so, something like that. I mean, literally like the time that you went over there in order to pre-order it. I said, so was this something that was planned beforehand, or did it just get dropped in your lap? So they said, no, we had no idea. Literally, like a thing came up and suddenly we were able to do it. And so then as a result, like anyone who came in asking for a pre-order, then we could do it. Like there was no lead up, there was no heads up, nothing.
Yeah.
And so you were probably like 10 minutes early, whatever it is. I mean, it's just, so anyway, this is something that, I think that Nintendo really screwed the pooch on. And this is something that this is really Nintendo's fault. I also, I place a significant amount of the blame also on the fact that this whole bot thing is going on, but I'll get to that in just a second. As a company, it is, and I'm getting on my soapbox here, and this is a message for you, Nintendo. So Nintendo, I want you to listen up.
Wake up.
I have tremendous amount of respect for you as a company. I think you've done a fabulous job of enriching countless amounts of families by your products, and just everyone's been enjoying your things. And we've been able to forge a lot of memories as a result of just the wonderful gaming experiences that you provide. However, you need to do a serious inventory of how you conduct your business with your products. The fact is that you knew that the Super Nintendo Classic Mini was going to sell like hotcakes. In fact, you even went on record talking about how you were making a significantly more amount of editions of the SNES Classic over the NES Classic, because the NES Classic sold like gangbusters. And why you didn't continue to create more NES Classic Minis is beyond me, because the demand is there. It's classic supply and demand. It's free money. Take it. So moving on to the SNES Classic, now you're at a point where there are just a ton of people that want your product. And now the only other option that you really, well, there's 2 options. One is you can go on to eBay, where they're scalping the crap out of these prices. And they're currently at between $200 and $250 when the system itself was retailing for $80. Right. The only other way that you can do that other than eBay is to try and get it when it drops. I think it's on September 28th or 29th. I can't remember which day it is, but that means that there are going to be people who are freaking out trying to get their hands on a very limited quantity. It is your prerogative to make sure that you properly engage the retailers and let them know when you expect these things to drop. This is nothing new. You have different companies all the time that will stage simultaneous releases of certain products and also get the word out and whatnot. This whole ninja-esque approach to just kind of sort of letting it come out and not letting anybody know when it's going on or whatever, that's bad business. Be upfront, have a date of when the pre-orders are available, and let the folks have a fair shot at getting the product that they want to get. It's not rocket science. And they've had a history with this with other systems too in the past. And it just bewilders me that they approach it this way.
Russ.
Yes, Steve.
I'm going to play Let me start over. I'm going to play devil's advocate for a second.
You just went full retard. Never go full retard.
So I think it's marketing. And I'll tell you why. Okay? Because Sony does the same thing. I worked in Best Buy and I worked in Target and I worked in Good Guys and then we all sold the systems. However, when Sony in particular comes out with a new system, they do almost the exact same thing. They'll leak out a few systems here and there. Oh, like big box retail stores, high traffic areas only get like 3 or 4 PS2s, PS3s, PS4s have been around for every single launch. And the public is going wild, going, man, I'm trying to get one. I'll pay. What's the money? I'll pay it. And then more close to Christmas time, they leak out more and more and more because everybody wants to get one. And it's they're basically artificially creating a high demand for it. Because if all your kids, are begging you, let's say, for a system, or you're an avid fan and you want to get the system, you almost don't really care what the price is. I mean, I went to go put money down on the Xbox Scorpio and not even check what the full price is going to be. So, I mean, but I really, really want one. That's the case. So if they're satisfying the demand early and everybody gets one, then all of a sudden it's not as exciting. But if one of your buddies, like out of 5, let's say, gets one, everyone's like, oh, you got that? Oh, you got this? I've been looking for it everywhere. And people are scouring the internet and scouring every little shop they can to try and find the system. And if Sony or Nintendo, in this case, can control that demand and leak out the systems, they can keep the demand high for a longer period of time.
Yeah, normally that sort of thing does make sense. And Sony and Microsoft, I know what you're talking about. However, in Nintendo's case, Nintendo has a track record of stopping production. Like with the NES Classic, for example, they only made a certain amount of units and that was it. It wasn't like they were trying to drum up some sort of hype for the launch of the system. And so they leaked out like what you're talking about. Only 6 months later to have plenty on the market at that point in time, like a PlayStation or an Xbox. There are no more. That is it. The same thing with the SNES Classic Mini. The Nintendo has gone on record saying that they're only working on units until the end of this year. After December of 2017, that's it. There are no more. So regardless of the fact of how much demand there is for this system, they just have it in their minds that that's all they're going to make. And to me, it's a lousy customer experience. Like you want to be able to facilitate the demand and be able to have as many happy gamers as possible. Now, switching gears a bit, going back to the bot thing. This is also something that a lot of the retailers need to do. If you go on a lot of these websites and you're checking out, they don't have what's called CAPTCHA. There are surprisingly few websites that utilize this, but CAPTCHA is that thing where you type in like what letters you see or what kind of pictures match up or whatever it is. It's basically a way to make sure that you're a person, not a bot.
Right.
All of these retailers, Best Buy, GameStop, Amazon, all of these places, they need to incorporate the CAPTCHA technology into it because the founder of the Tai Ding bot has said the one thing that prevents their software from working, their script, is the CAPTCHA. And I think that due to making sure that the playing field is leveled, it's a fair playing field, so it's first come, first serve, and no one has any kind of little nerdy thing that they do where they run some sort of little script and they are able to get 4 SNES Classic Minis. I mean, because that's 3 SNES Classic Minis that could have gone to different households.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, people just want to have fun playing the game. They don't want to they have no interest in flipping it on eBay and make a price. I think that it is the responsibility of these retailers to strongly consider adding that into their checkout system, because that will make things a whole lot more fair. And I think, I joked this week about how there are officially too many nerds in the world now, because you have so many folks who've gotten savvy at being able to find, like, for instance, you can't just go to a website and buy the Tai Ding bot. You have to go through a lot of back channels and find someone who has one, and just, it's kind of more of the black market in that sense. But even unrelated to video games, I'm a big fan of Mondo. Mondo is a company that's based actually in Austin, Texas. And they sell very limited edition prints of different types of pop culture oriented things, whether it's comic books or movies or whatever. They have certain artists from around the world who make their own original depiction of something, so a character or a scene from a beloved movie, whatever it is. As a result, they have the same problem where they will all of a sudden post a brand new print that's for sale, and there's only like 50 copies or 75 copies of this print. They're not going to make any more of that print. And so as a result, that they're, due to the low edition size, you have people who are really trying to get it. However, there are bots that are used on that as well, and they have no CAPTCHA system in place. So you have a lot of customers walk away feeling thwarted, and angry, because it's like, well, there's no point. Like, I really would love to buy that, frame it, and enjoy it in my home, but there's literally no way to do it unless I want to pay 3 to 5 times as much on eBay.
I think another angle to look at this too was that it was talked about so much on social media, and even people were having fun with it, saying that, oh, it's being released now when it wasn't released, and that was going back. That's gone back and forth actually for a long time, for a couple months. At least I've seen it going on for a couple months. I'm on Twitter and Facebook, more so Twitter. And to the point where people are ready, or they're antsy to go spend their money, and they're going, is it out now? No, it's not out now. Oh, is it out now? No, it's not out now. Is it out now? No, it's not out now. And even on the same, when it was finally available for pre-order, people were still saying, oh, go in there. They have them just sitting there. I'm like, come on. You're just, so I don't know. I think Nintendo, they did drop the ball. At the same time, if the demand is that high and they are enraging that many customers, they got to think, we can make more. It's a quick buck for us.
But they don't. That's the thing. They're stubborn in that sense. Like, once they make their mind up, that's it. That's the thing. Like, you and I are used to companies like Microsoft and Sony, where they see the demand, they go, oh, well, let's make some more. And when they do like a specific system launch, after the initial batch is done, there's a period of it being sold out. But then a couple of months later, like 2 or 3 months later, all of a sudden they'll start getting more systems in because, hey, yeah, we made some more. Here you go. And we are used to that type of sales dynamic. This is, however, is a bit different. So literally, what you and I are going to have to do, and I'm asking you, this is a favor, Steve, is we're going to have to literally get in line at dark 30 in the morning outside of a GameStop or a Best Buy or a Target, something like that, on the day this thing drops in order to secure one.
Yeah, we have to split up, I think.
I think so too.
Yeah, if I drop a hint out there, if anybody wants one, typically Target's the last place people think about in order to get one.
Yeah. Or Walmart.
Or even Walmart, yeah. But I remember people walking in Target and not even knowing what the electronics department had. And it's like, oh, you guys got games here? Oh, you guys got cell phones here? And yeah, we've always had it, So I remember a lot of consumers walking in surprised that we were selling Xbox and PlayStation and whatever. So
yeah,
maybe I'll get in line at a place that is not so regularly looked at.
One of the other things too that's worth mentioning is that with the Super Nintendo Classic Mini getting released, the game that everyone's talking about that's coming with it is Star Fox 2.
Star Fox 2.
That game never came out in America.
Right.
That was a Japanese only game. And so once again, you have all these people who are big Star Fox fans, they're big Nintendo fans. They won't get to play the game because, hey, there aren't any systems available. Right. So again, it's like, okay, what at the end of the day, what is the user experience like? Do you want to have that type of situation where people walk away and they're just like, wow, like I had no chance. That sucks.
Yeah.
Or do you want to be able to properly facilitate the demand and be like, hey, you know what? We know we initially said we were only going to make a certain amount of units up until this point, but you know what? Due to the fact that we have this overwhelming demand, now we're making more. I mean, let's be real. This is not some next gen system.
Right.
This is a very, dated update to the system.
Yeah.
It doesn't cost nearly as much as like, the current gen systems or next gen systems will cost.
This is 16-bit.
Yeah.
We're at 17-bit now. I'm just kidding.
Anyway, I think I've ranted enough about it, but I feel like I was compelled to just talk about the subject of Nintendo just simply because of the fact that this year was the year for me that I was like, I want to get into a Nintendo system. And that's saying something because I've never owned a Nintendo system. I've always been in the Sega camp. I've always enjoyed, like the PlayStation and Xbox. I've never owned a Nintendo system. And so it's interesting coming from my perspective on that because I would admit, dude, I was hot to trot. Yeah. I was ready to go. I'm like, dude, here's my money. Take my money. I'm ready to do this.
Take Steve's money too while you're at it.
Yeah. I didn't even ask him. I just took his money. Here, take it.
Okay, where'd my money go?
Yeah. Anyway, I still have hope. I have not lost complete hope on it, but I do sincerely hope that Nintendo will look at kind of their structure and their model of how they release future systems. And I also am hopeful that we will be able to actually grab an SNES Classic because they have like 21 or 22 games on there that like all of which I was like, yeah, I remember playing that at my friend's house. That was awesome.
Yeah. Russ, when you get the system, and you get the controller in your hand, you'd be like, how did we used to play this before? Like, I'm used to the Xbox controller and the PlayStation
it's
controller.
So tiny, yeah.
Yeah, your hand's going to start to cramp.
Those little milk bone controllers, yeah. Well, I think that's all the time we have for this particular episode. If you have any questions, comments, or just want to show us some love, you can find us on Twitter at Joygasm TV and Facebook.com/Joygasm TV. You can also listen to us on SoundCloud at SoundCloud.com/Joygasm TV. And make sure you check us out on YouTube. Just do a search for Joygasm TV. And until next time, folks, happy gaming. Zip!